today. Kate Cross is leading the England women's side on their historic tour of Ireland and has had a fine day in the first ODI. Career best figures of 6 for 30, saw Ireland, all out for 210. She then hit the winning runs to finish 38 not out. That's a career best score to boot. She's also got more sixes in international cricket than Charlotte Edwards. She's hopped out of the ice bath to join us from Belfast, where apparently it's very hot. Is this right, Kate?
Yeah, it is. There's definitely no bad light here. It's been very sunny in Stormont today.
Oh, how delightful. Now then, you've got to fill us in a little bit about this England side out in Ireland, because one of the really notable aspects of it is that I think, if I count on my hands here, you've got 5 debutants: Holly Armitage, Hannah Baker, Maddie Villiers, Paige Schofield and Rhianna McDonald-Gay. Is that right?
That's correct, yeah. We had a 15-minute cap presentation this morning. Everyone had to arrive a little bit earlier to the ground to get it in before warm-up.
Ebony Raven-Brent is alongside me, by the way, just so as you know. I was going to say that now those 5, they're all players who have started a bit in the 100. Is that what the 100 and the professionalisation of women's cricket is doing? It's just widening that pool, that catchment pool of players.
Yeah, I think so. With this tour in particular, it's overlapped a little bit with the preparation for the T20 World Cup out in Abu Dhabi. So I think what we are starting to see now is the fruits of what's gone into the regional game. Obviously, I know that's going to look a little bit different next year with it being a tiered system and going to more of a county structure. But I think what the regional game's done over the last couple of years has given lots of girls opportunities to be professional cricketers and train as professionals, not worry about subsidising incomes with other jobs and stuff, but also being exposed to more matches, more games where they're under pressure, crowds in the 100, etc. So that hopefully then minimises that gap when you make that step up into an international shirt. So obviously 5 debutants today was quite a lot to deal with as captain, actually, but it just goes to show, where the state of the women's game is in domestically in the UK.
Now, we're going to talk about England's performance shortly, but it looks like a really tight game you had out there, and I'm not entirely surprised, because there are a bunch of Irish women that have impressed me in the Women's T20 World Cup in South Africa, and Orla Prendergast was once again to the fore with 76 off 87 balls. She is some talent, isn't she?
Yeah, she had a really good day today, actually. And, there was a moment, I think that Ireland were about 120 odd for 3, possibly off like 25 overs. And there was a partnership building with Orla and the left hand of Paul. So, there was moments of pressure for us and having to think how to break those partnerships and stuff. But yeah, they've got a really exciting young team, actually. And, they've got Ed Joyce leading them as well. He's, got a ridiculous amount of experience as a professional cricketer. So I think having people like that around your group is also what stands you in good stead when you play international cricket. And obviously they've come off a successful series against Sri Lanka just recently as well.
I mean, you had a very fine 5-prong bowling attack there. You, Lauren Filer, Hannah Baker, Rhianna McDonald-Gay, Maddie Villiers. But you were the standout there, 6 for 30. You must be delighted with your performance, surely, Kate?
Yeah, I think one thing I wanted to promise myself going into this tour, obviously I haven't done massive amount of captaincy, but I wanted to make sure that I was the best one-day bowler that I could be while still wearing the England shirt, because, if I'm not doing my role correctly, then you're leading from the front, as they say, the cliche, then it makes almost the captaincy a bit redundant, because I've still got to do my role. So I wanted to make sure that I kept myself clear as much as possible, and I think it's just one of those days. It could have been anyone, but obviously always special to pick up a 5-wicket haul in an England shirt, but it felt doubly special today, just with it being my first time as captain as well.
And now you're captain out there in large part because there's a Women's T20 World Cup that will be available every ball of every game on the BBC, starting in the UAE on the 3rd of October. So for the most part, that T20 squad has been rested. I think Freya Kemp is in the T20 squad, but also in the ODI squad with you. Is that correct?
Yeah, and Beth Heath. So they'll both leave after the ODIs and head over to the prep camp, which has been held in Abu Dhabi.
So this is a really good opportunity to take a look at players who are sort of knocking on the door, but you didn't have it all your own way. I mean, having restricted Ireland to 210, it required a bit of a recovery after Freya Kent was out at 132 for 5. There were still 80-odd runs to be got. You came in at 8 with still another 55 to win. Bludgeoned 38 from 36 balls. Your batting is coming on, you know, because you get teased by Alex Hartley sometimes about your batting. I think she's got a thing about you ending up with the record number of runs for a number 10. But you're better than a number 10.
Yeah, she told me I shouldn't bat any higher than 10 in this series so that I could try and get the record. But obviously, as captain, you've got the opportunity to promote yourself. You're going to do it. But yeah, she jokes with me that I'm a tail ender, and I've always been annoyed at her for that because I feel like I'm better than a tail ender. But obviously, it was great to be out there to hit the winning runs. But I think what pleased me most was actually the way that Bess Heath batted. She's not had a great amount of opportunity in an England shirt, and when she does, it feels like she goes in at the back end of T20s and is expected to, you know, hit boundaries and put pressure on bowlers. But I just thought she batted so maturely today and did exactly what we needed of her to get the win, which was the goal at the beginning of the day.
Crossy, it's Ebbs here. Hope you're doing all right. My first thought when I looked down that lineup is you're getting a little bit longer in the tooth. You're like me and Dan now, you know, getting a bit older. So how do you find that sort of experience of being that leadership role, leading some young players? I mean, I was looking down at some of the ages, you know, 18, 19, 20. How does it feel for you now being that sort of senior pro, and how do you feel passing on that experience?
Oh, I mean, that's probably my favourite part of being an England cricketer at the minute is, you know, helping some of the youngsters. I've, you know, built a really brilliant relationship with Lauren Bell over the last couple of years, and I'm a person that likes to help anyway. So I think with the leadership role that I've been given on this tour, it's a little bit different because there's a lot of inexperienced. And I say inexperienced lightly. They're not inexperienced cricketers. They're inexperienced in terms of international cricket. But obviously, to bring all that together and to try and win a series against an exciting Irish team was always going to be difficult. We've not had a great amount of time to prep together, but that's something that I think I'm going to relish in the next couple of, well, it's only a short trip, it's only 10 days, but I'm hoping that that's the thing that I step away from it and be really proud of, that I was able to, you know, give some girls their first experience of what it's like playing for England. And I remember getting to play under the incredible Charlotte Edwards. She handed me my cap. So, you know, these are the first for a lot of the girls, and you want them to remember them to be brilliant experiences. And we got our first England win today for 5 debutants, so that's, you know, a pretty special day.
Yeah, and another one, I guess, is that hunger. I was thinking about looking down that lineup. A lot of players, Maddie Villiers, will want to get back into that international side. You know, players like Holly Armitage might want to impress and move up the order in terms of you know, pushing higher honours. So, do you sense that feeling of hunger and sort of competition for places within the environment?
Yeah, definitely. And I've seen, I said it in an interview earlier in the week, but there's always so much in the calendar now in terms of, you know, big events, ICC World Cups and Ashes and stuff, that we need a big depth of English players to pick from. And I think tours like this, where it's obviously frustrating in a way that we've not been able to, you know, the World Cup squad aren't able to come out here because the preparation for a T20 World Cup actually doesn't suit them being out here in Ireland, but it does give that opportunity for other players. And I said to the girls at the beginning of this that I almost want it to be a bit of a headache tour for John Louis. I want him to, you know, come away from this with players who've really stuck their hand up and said, I'm ready for international cricket. And, you know, in 12 months' time, there is another ICC World Cup, 50 over cricket. So there's so many more opportunities now for girls, and I think this is like a small stepping stone in that to give people an idea of where they're at internationally and how they might be able to perform if they did take, you know, the next step up.
Kate, though, what we're seeing now, though, is the sort of fixture congestion that has bedeviled English men's cricket. You know, at the end of the test match that we're watching here, England's T20 side play a game, I think it's the very next day that this game is scheduled to finish. And when you think about where women's cricket was 4 or 5 years ago, is the volume of cricket sustainable so quickly? Because a lot of people are having to adjust to a really packed schedule.
Yeah, and it's new, and that's what you know, I've heard Heather talk about this a lot in the press, but just because the men have a blueprint of what they do doesn't mean that the women's schedule needs to follow that. And we're not there yet, obviously, in terms of there's not all the UAE tournaments around the world, and we are seeing T20 franchise cricket crop up a little bit more in the women's game. But I think this just felt like a bit of an anomaly in terms of the preparation that wasn't specific for the conditions that were going to be faced in the T20 World Cup. Obviously, I know that it has moved from Bangladesh, but Ireland in September doesn't have the same feel to it as Dubai in September. So, I think this was a bit of an anomaly, but what it does is it gives people the opportunity to showcase what they've been working so hard on for the last 4 or 5 years, and hopefully, like I said, it gives John Lewis a few headaches in terms of when he comes to selecting his next England squad.